Hey, it's Benji Cole, son of Al Cole from CBS Radio and host of the syndicated talk show, People of Distinction. The talk that gives you an in-depth view of some of the most dynamic, intelligent, and successful people on the planet. Run to our website, alcoleenterprises.com for more info. Email me at benji@alcoleenterprises.com if you'd like to get involved with what we have going. And as always, please continue to like and follow our broadcast because People of Distinction is a nationally and internationally syndicated show because of listeners like you. Our shows are available across all major podcast distributors as well as YouTube. And if you keep following, we're going to continue to put out the content. We appreciate the support. Continue to like and follow and sit back and strap in because on the line with us today, we have the impressive David Montes. We're going to be discussing his book, Thoughts from October, available for purchase through Amazon, Barnes & Noble, all the regular online book resellers, and you're going to want to head on over there and pick up copies of this amazing book. And people, listen, it is an absolute pleasure to have David here on the line. His book, Thoughts from October, it's going to have you thinking. It's going to make you ponder a little bit. This is a fantastic journey that you're going to want to take because people, listen, in a world where every choice branches into its own infinite possibilities, this week on our podcast, we sit down with the thought-provoking author whose latest book dares us to question our decisions. What if the path we didn't take holds the key to our true selves? I mean, that's a deep question. That's a philosophical question there. And it's something that I know you all have thought about. There are a lot of avenues that we can go down. And there are a lot of times in our lives where we came to that fork in the road, right? Where we were faced with this decision and we had to choose right or left. And maybe we made the wrong decision. Or, maybe we didn't. But that question is what this book entails and so much more. I'm telling you, David is the absolute embodiment of a person of distinction. And this book is so refreshingly unique and something that connects to each and every one of us. This is something you're going to want to add to your shelf. This is one you're going to want to be lost in. And at the end of the day, it's David's book, man. He's the expert. He's written it. He's going to be able to articulate it much better than I ever could. Do me a favor, as always, sit back and strap in. David, first and foremost, welcome to People of Distinction, and thank you very much for being a guest. How are you doing today?
Hey, Benji, that was a great introduction.
Listen, man, I was following your lead. You put out a fantastic book, and this is something that, again, the book is great, and obviously as a writer, it just flows very well, right? I read the reviews online, man. I know people are loving this book, but also...
Very personal story.
But here's the great part about that, David. It's a personal story to you, but it's one that every single person that picks up this book is going to be able to relate to because you're talking about something that we've all contemplated. We've all been there where we have that what if. David, before we go into the book, man, tell us a little bit more about yourself and your background, please.
I was born in New York. My dad began a dental business and moved us across the country over here to the San Fernando Valley in California. My mom then began working in the movie industry, 20th Century Fox, for almost 20 years.
Wow.
We got to see all the movies before they were released in the theaters. We were just huge Arnold Schwarzenegger fans, so come on, who wasn't in the 80s?
Yeah.
I graduated from Cal State University, Northridge. Please respect all the CSUN graduates listening. And shortly thereafter, I was involved in a car accident. And this accident, I really shouldn't have survived.
I think it's safe to assume, and I tread lightly with that because you know what happens when you assume, David. But this car accident that you shouldn't have survived, I'm guessing that was the precipice that really set this book in motion, if I'm correct. But talk to us a little bit more about the inspiration behind it.
So I was recovering from this accident at Rancho Los Amigos Rehabilitation Center. Mm-hmm. And the doctors there told me that I needed at least a year for my brain to recover from the accident. Wow. Something called a subarachnoid brain hemorrhage that I had, ridiculous. And that I shouldn't go back to work during this time. I shouldn't push myself to learn new things as my brain might not respond the way that I needed it to. But come on, I wasn't listening to anyone. I was already reading GMAT prep books. I wanted to get a master's degree. I wanted my brain back now. Mm-hmm. And wow, was it a process. But I pushed through. I got that degree. I met a wonderful woman. We have an amazing son. And this accident really was my second chance. So why not write a book about it?
I love it. Well, listen, without further ado, we have to go into the book now, David. Thoughts from October, man. Tell us a little bit more about it.
So on the back cover, you'll see a question there that says, sometimes there's an incident that can be so traumatic that your brain will bury the memory of it. Well, that's what happened to me. Like the darkness surrounding what had led me to the accident might not have been something that I needed to dig around for or gain insights from. My brain really did hide it in a place to protect me. Well, I went one step further. I went to a hypnotist. I wanted to exhume the memory of this event. But what happens when I discovered the truth behind it? Could I forgive myself about what I had done? This is what I grappled with in this book.
Who would you say, David, is your intended reader, man? Because listen, like I said, your book is, from an entertainment standpoint, it has so much to offer, but also there's those deep philosophical questions that we all ponder and grapple with. So who would you say is your expected reader for this book?
I think people looking for themes of love, regret, second chances, like you had mentioned, what if? When we come across that life-changing decision, that fork in the road, which path will we take? A lot of times, we're on autopilot and we just choose what's safe. Our family doesn't want us to push a lot of envelopes, a lot of backgrounds, a lot of chances. And they're like, hey, take the path of least resistance. But sometimes the other direction, the one that is outside of our comfort zone, the one that really brings out the inner us, is the direction that could really change our lives.
Yeah.
Set us off on a new path that creates wonderful times in our lives.
I'm curious here with this next one because, listen, I'm following what you're saying. I'm picking up what you're putting down here, David. What are you wanting your readers to take from your book after they complete it?
We all make mistakes in our lives. I'm sure all of the listeners here have had a moment or moments in their lives that they wish they could have gone back and changed.
Yeah.
But if we really could go back and change those moments, would we be different people today? Would we be in a different place in the world, just have a different mindset? Or was it really just that we needed to forgive and let go of that pain from the past? I mean, without a time machine, how else are we going to get past this?
Right. This is such an interesting concept that you bring up, and one that, in my imagination, I'm loving playing these out. And this is where, as I mentioned in my opening, I think this is why your book is so powerful. Because, yeah, entertainment aside, these questions are something we all grapple with, and I think there's so much value in exploring those. Now, exploring those to an extent. Because here's my next question here for you, David. And I don't know if this is one that you can give a concrete answer for, but you can at least offer your opinion with regards to it. Well, your book explores alternate paths. How do you suggest readers navigate their own what-if scenarios without becoming overwhelmed by regret?
I think a lot of times you need to trust the people around you. The friends that you've had for many years that you can really open yourself up to. I had a small core group of friends that remembered what I was like before the accident and after the accident. They had even suggested that the relationship that I was in before the accident might have been what led me to the accident. So a lot of times it's just being honest with ourselves. Hey, I'm here. I can feel that it's a crossroad and I'm being pulled over here to the left, but I think the right might be the best choice to make. Sometimes I can't make that choice on my own. Talk to family, talk to friends, really get down into what you think the right decision might be.
People, just in case you forgot, it's Amazon. It's Barnes & Noble. The book is called Thoughts from October by David Montes. You're going to want to head on over there and pick it up. A fantastic thing that you brought up, and I'm now kind of taking that and manipulating it in a way. So I know you didn't say this specifically, but you mentioned, and I'm paraphrasing now, but you mentioned something along the lines of there were decisions that you had made that led you to that accident. And the way I interpret that, again, loosely, you didn't say this, this is words that I'm putting in, but the way I interpret that is, well, this was almost fate, right? It was almost destined that these decisions, it was a ripple effect. It was already pushing you in that direction where the accident was going to happen regardless. It was already destined to fall that way. right? Now, again, very loose interpretation. I understand that you didn't say that, but follow me down this rabbit hole here, David. I'm curious, what role do you believe fate or destiny plays in our everyday choices that we ultimately make? And if we're following that line of thinking and diving down that rabbit hole, are we truly in control of our own paths?
That is a great insight that you had there. I actually discussed that in the book. When I was with this hypnotist digging into what may or may not have caused this, I thought, what would have happened if I'd actually died in the car accident? And I was given repentance, a chance to come back and maybe even stop the relationship that led me to the accident. Would I be able to avoid it completely? Or like you said, was this a destined moment that was there to change my life? I was kind of off the path, and then the accident was what brought me back. So I gave myself that question in the book, and it seems like there are destined moments in our lives, things that we can't avoid, things that were supposed to happen.
Right.
And we do have choices that can either take us to the left or to the right, but we end up at that moment because it's what we were supposed to conquer, to surpass.
Yeah. I'm curious, David, as we're discussing your book, and we understand that, again, one of the overarching themes here is that question of what if we can go back in time and play out things differently. Well, I'm curious, do you believe that there's ever a point in life where it's too late to reconsider our past choices? Or is there always a possibility to forge a new path?
Absolutely. It is never too late. That's what I want the readers to take from this book, forgiveness. When we let go of that trauma, that mistake that we made back in the day, it could have been 10, 20 years ago, it could have been last week.
Yeah.
And we think, wow, if I hadn't stepped in it, I'd be in a different place today. It's something that we continue to carry with us. We just need to have those conversations. The people that wronged us, the people that led us to that event, and we'll find out that no one was there to hurt us.
Right.
No one had any malicious intentions when they did that. This is just something that we need to let go of. And a lot of times we have trauma from our childhood, places that we can't even return to because it's immediately brought back to us. But no, it's all in ourselves to change, and we can change at any age. Forgiveness, let go of that past, and that really changes everything.
Our minds are incredibly powerful. I've always been a very firm believer in the notion of your perception creating your reality, or at the very bare minimum, your perception affects your reality so much. This book is going to be the precipice of so much for you. Again, you need a book to pass on a rainy day? Yeah, this book's got what you need. You need a book to pass on a rainy day, but also something that has a great foundation that will spark pretty monumental conversations if you allow it to, and really open your eyes to so much. Yeah, I got news for you, people. This book's got what you're looking for as well. There is so much benefit to adding this to your shelf. So one last time, you already know it's Amazon. It's Barnes & Noble. It's Books A Million. It's a whole host of other places. It's called Thoughts from October by David Montes. You're going to want to head on over there, pick up this book. Here's the best part. We've barely scratched the surface. We have discussed so much today, and there is still so much left off the table that you now have to fill in. Do your part. Head on over there, pick up copies. While you're at it, get it as a gift to add to someone else's shelf as well. You got David to thank for all of it. David, this has been a true pleasure, man. An absolutely enlightening conversation. Thank you once again for being a guest on People of Distinction.
Boom, you were the man, Benji. Thank you. Wow, good stuff. Thank you. Your insight, wow, you took it to places that, thank you. I love it.